Shalom Yasha'Allah. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, which are the true holy names of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, who the world only calls Jesus Christ. I want to give double honors to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to you brothers through the four corners of the earth, preaching His word in truth, love, and sincerity. In today's quick lesson, I just want to go into a few articles on the world's military spending. Okay? Because we always bring it out that a lot of these most, if not if all, countries and nations, their biggest budget is spending towards their military. Okay, and this goes back to 2012, and I think I have a few of them to go up to 2015 and 2016. You know, but they've been spending these massive amounts of money towards their military defense, and we know even more at this time because we're closer to the brink of World War III. You know, you see the different skirmishes and fightings and the trade wars and the rumors of wars and all the little things that they have going on. Even just the little provoking wars, and sanctions, things like that of going on certain nations. Okay, the U.S. be putting sanctions on nations, and nations don't follow. For as like testing their nuclear capabilities, shooting their missiles in the sea. You know what I mean? Different places shooting missiles at each other, for as like how the U.S. dropped bombs. I believe it was somewhere in Syria, somewhere around that region. Okay, so you have these different little mini wars, but ultimately it's gonna jump to the World War III. Okay, which is inevitable. So I want to just touch on a few things in this article. So this one is the 2nd of May 2018. It says the global military spending remains high at 1.7 trillion. Okay, and this is the article from 2nd of May 2018, and this is the world military spending, the data and graphic. Okay, between 1988 and 2017. It says total world military expenditure rose to 1,739 billion in 2017, marginal increase of 1.1% in real terms from 2016. According to new figures from the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, China's military expenditure rose again in 2017, continuing an upward trend in spending that has lasted for more than 2 decades. Russia's military spending fell for the first time since 1998, while spending by the United States remained constant for the second successive year. The comprehensive annual update of the SIPRI military expenditure database is accessible from today. Continuing high military expenditure is a cause for serious concern, said Ambassador Jan Elias Hassan, chair of the SIPRI governing board. It undermines the research for peaceful solutions to conflicts around the world. Ain't gonna be no peace, okay? The Lord said when people think of peace, He said the people should not even say peace, peace. Because there is no peace, okay? There is no peace coming to America. There's no peace coming around the world, okay? We're heading into World War III. All right? After 13 consecutive years of increase from 1999 to 2011 and relatively unchanged spending from 2012 to 2016, total global military expenditure rose again in 2017. Military spending in 2017 represented 2.2% of global gross domestic product, GDP, or $230 per person. The increases of the world military expenditure in the recent years have been largely due to substantial growth in spending by countries in Asia, Oceania, and the Middle East, such as China, India, and Saudi Arabia, said Dr. Nan Tien, researcher with the SIPRI Arms and Military Expenditure (AMEX) program. At the global level, the weight of the military spending is clearly shifting away from the Euro-Atlantic region. And like I just did a lesson, a lot of these nations that's getting all this military weapons and military aircrafts and tanks and land vehicles and things like that. A lot of them are getting these basically just this military defense items from Russia. Okay, Russia plays a large part of supplying these nations of what they need, for its anti-air defense missile systems and everything. Spending falls sharply in Russia, but rises in Central and Western Europe. Let's hit key points. Higher spending by Saudi Arabia drives increase in the Middle East. U.S. spending no longer in decline. That's because they spending the most. Other notable developments. China has made the largest absolute increase in spending to $1 billion in 2017 and constant 2016 prices, while Russia made the largest decrease, $13.9 billion. Military expenditure in South America rose by 4.1% in 2017, mainly as a result of the notable increases by the two largest spender in the sub-region, Argentina up by 15% and Brazil up by 6.3%. Military spending in Central America and the Caribbean fell by 6.6% in 2017, largely due to the lower spending by Mexico, down by 8.1% from 2016. And military expenditure in Africa decreased by 0.5% in 2017, the third consecutive annual decrease since the peak in spending in 2014. And Algeria's military spending fell for the first time in over a decade, down by 5.2% from 2016. 7 of the 10 countries with the highest military burden are the Middle East. 12% of the GDP, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Jordan, Israel, Lebanon, and Bahrain. All right, so that's just is going into what the nations increased in its spending or decreased. Okay, but the point stands of the global military spending remains high at 1.7 trillion. Okay, and probably it's more than that, and on the rise. Why? Because we're at the brink of World War III. So the nations need to put their money where they can ultimately defend themselves. Okay, that's basically just what I read. Okay, the same thing. This is just going into who's spending what. You see the United States at the top, then China and then Russia and Saudi Arabia and different countries. But the point being, that these nations are getting ready for what? World War III. So they don't have time to be worried about the farming and agriculture. They got to be worried about and prepping themselves for war, an all-out war. So let's get the scriptures, okay? So let's get Joel 3 verse 9. It says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, and let all the men of war draw near, and let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong." So this is what you see. Okay, these nations are no longer dealing with the farming and agriculture and things like that. They are preparing and getting themselves ready for war, right? As it says in the 9th verse. So when it says beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears, them is weapon-like instruments, okay? So don't you not plowing. Plowing is like a farmer. A pruning hook is almost like to fishing and things like that. Beat them into weaponry, okay? Let the weak say I am strong. And that's what all these other nations, all right, that used to be bullied by the U.S., now they are able to say they are strong too, because they have been supplied with weaponry where they can now fight against America, okay? Fight against the great wicked kingdom that been ruling them and oppressing them. Basically bullying these countries. It says, "Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither. Cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord, and let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat," right? Yahweh's Shabbat, the Heavenly Father's judgment. "And for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about." So the heathen is going to judge Salakia. The Lord is going to judge all you heathen roundabout. Okay, this is the reason why y'all all are getting ready and gathered up, getting ready to go where? To the Middle East. Okay, ultimately, so the Lord can judge you. You know. So when I said bleach your plowshares, they're pruning. Your plowshares are pruning to swords, and your pruning hooks, slakia. When I said beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears, you're gonna see, okay, that their mind should be focused on weaponry. Okay. The top 10 countries that bought Russia's most powerful weapons in 2017. Let's take a look at these nations, all right? Russia exported approximately 15 billion worth of weapons to 53 countries around the world in 2017. About 6.14 billion of that 15 billion was a major weaponry, including military, aircraft, ships, armored vehicles, guided munitions, and more, according to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. Okay, so let's take a look at these countries. This is the point. Let's take a look at these countries that bought all these different weapons from Russia, which has been their supplier. You have Bangladesh. The amount purchased was 93 million. All right, and this is in 2015. Bangladesh purchased 6 Mi-AMT Mi-17 transport helicopters, which were delivered. And I'm just going to read the amount that they spent and what they purchased. Okay, then I make it so long. It says they purchased 340 Russian BTR-80 ACPs. Azerbaijan, they spent 128 million, and they purchased 36 TOS-1 self-propelled multiple rocket launchers, and purchased 70 Russian BTR-82A infantry fighting vehicles. Belarus, they purchased 145 million of what? 12 Mi-AMT Mi-17 transport helicopters and 12 Su-30 Mk fighter jets. 100 Russian Tor missile systems in 2017. You see? Because these nations are getting ready for war. They know what time it is. They're buying these things. Not to stack them, not to make them look fashionable for no art show, to ultimately use these weapons. Okay? Yeah. Kazakhstan purchased 163 million, 12 Su-30 Mk fighter jets, 4 Russian Mi-35M combat helicopters, and 90 Russian BTR-82A infantry fighting vehicles. And that's it for them. Angola, they purchased 188 million and 12 Su-30K fighter jets from. We know that's all from Russia. Vietnam, 6 Russian Kilo class type 636 submarines, and 64 Russian T-90S tanks. Algeria, 42 Russian Mi-28N combat helicopters, 2 Russian Kilo class type 636 submarines. Oh, and they also purchased 8 Mi-26 transport helicopters. China, 859 million. Remember, they said they was the second behind the U.S. Well, but it says third on here, but they're the second behind U.S. in just spending money on a military defense. So let's see what they had. They purchased 24 Su-35 fighter jets, 400 missile defense systems, S-400 400 missile defense system. Egypt, 1.11 billion. Purchased 46 Ka-52 combat helicopters and 50 MiG-29 fighter jets. Yeah, that's it. That's all what they bought. In India spent 1.893 billion. 42 Russian Su-30 Mk fighter jets, 2 Russian A-50 EHL AWACs, MiG-29 SMTs, 1,000 T-90 tanks, and 200. Oh no, okay, I read it already. 5 Russian S-400 missile defense systems, and a Akola class Type 971 submarine. So this is just what they spent. Okay, as you read the scriptures, like it says, Russia, Gog and Magog, which is Russia, shall be what? A guard unto these nations. Right? So, these is all these other nations, these weaker or smaller nations, are saying what, man? Let the weak say I am strong. So, let's get another scripture. Isaiah 14 verse 10. It reads, it says, all they speak and say unto thee, art thou become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? And that's what all these other nations can see, man. They can see America is not so great no more. They can see America, they can see America falling. That it's not at its height no more. Okay? That it doesn't have that power. That power that they used to have is falling. They're not that bully on the earth. And these other nations got the weaponry where now they can fight back. Okay? And America knows that, so that's why they're not just invading certain areas like that. That's why they didn't run into Iran yet. Because they know Russia is backing up Iran. Okay? He's a guard into Iran. And China is basically backing up or becoming allies with Russia. Because there was a statement made, I forgot the China's president. He made a statement that says, look, man, if you mess with Russia, you messing with us. Okay? So these different nations are now starting to back each other up. And soon, surely, so will America's allies. Okay? The scriptures tell you the beast shall hate the whore. And now whore is America, Babylon the Great. Okay? And part of that beast system is who? NATO and the EU, which are America's allies. And a lot of them are going to end up coming against America. Hey, so that's the point. I really just wanted to touch on the world military spending a little bit, not too much, and show you that a lot of their money is going towards their military defense, man, because they know that we're on the brink of World War III. Okay, and World War III is inevitable.